The excavation team spotted a pipe going underground in the middle of a dense forest. This was surprising because the area they were standing in was an old dead volcano, completely covered by trees, plants, and grass. To see what was inside the pipe, the team decided to send a night vision camera. When the camera descended about 30 meters, it captured the scene of a large tunnel. This event occurred on March 2018, near the city of Luban in South Poland. The excavation team was about to witness something unique, 30 meters below the ground. Welcome back to Jam TV and #039s videos. As the camera moved inside the tunnel, the team was astonished to see railway tracks. While they were trying to understand the purpose of the tracks, a minecart parked nearby caught their attention. When the local authorities were informed, they brought a map of a long-lost World War II tunnel. It was discovered that this tunnel had been constructed about 80 years ago during World War II, and for years, the local authorities had been searching for it. The entrance to the tunnel had been sealed with heavy stones, covered over the years by soil, grass, and debris, which erased any traces of its existence. However, from the inside, the tunnel perfectly matched the one shown on the map. The presence of tracks and the minecart indicated that the tunnel was used for storing goods during the war. Most of the metal objects inside the tunnel had rusted over time. Tools such as shovels, drill bits, and pickaxes were found in the same condition as they had been left 80 years ago by Nazi soldiers. During World War II, Nazi Germany was engaged in battles with countries like the United States and Britain. Hitler's forces constructed thousands of underground bunkers during this time. Although it started with Hitler, the Allied forces also began using underground tunnels and bunkers later. These bunkers were strategically significant, serving both defensive and offensive purposes. Some bunkers were designed to withstand enemy attacks, while others were used to launch assaults. They provided protection from airstrikes and artillery shells and offered soldiers a secure base. Defensive bunkers were often placed on the front lines and were designed to stop enemy advances. For example, Germany's Atlantic Wall acted as a strong barrier against Allied attacks. Some bunkers were also used for planning, where commanders secretly managed operations. So many underground bunkers and war rooms were constructed during World War II that counting them all today is nearly impossible, as thousands remain buried underground. It is said that during World War II, the Allied powers and the Axis powers spent so much on underground bunkers that there was a global shortage of steel and cement. An estimated $500 billion to $1 trillion in today's money was spent on constructing these bunkers. For perspective, the United States spent about $100 million daily on its 20-year war in Afghanistan. In comparison, about $460 million was spent daily on bunker construction during World War II. This does not even include manpower, logistics, and ammunition costs. Let us delve into history and learn about a few notable bunkers. The Atlantic Wall was a massive coastal defense system built by Nazi Germany during World War II. Spanning 2,400 miles, about 3,800 kilometers, along the European coastline, its purpose was to defend against attacks from the sea by the Allied forces. Constructed between 1940 and 1944, the system included thousands of bunkers, ammunition depots, and fortresses. At the time, Hitler controlled large parts of France, and the Atlantic Wall extended into regions such as northern France, including Normandy, where the Long-sur-Mer artillery battery was installed. These bunkers were designed to withstand heavy bombardments and provide defensive fire during attacks. In Norway, parts of the Atlantic Wall were also established to block Allied forces coming from the North Atlantic Ocean. Fortresses like Kristiansand protected naval routes. Additionally, the Netherlands, which was under Nazi control at the time, saw the construction of thousands of Schnellbunkers along the North Atlantic coast. The entire Atlantic Wall, which included underground bunkers, depots, tunnels, artillery batteries, and fortresses, was built by Fritz Todt and #039's German engineering company. Around 260,000 workers, mostly prisoners, were forced to build these structures within just 2 to 4 years. Today, parts of the Atlantic Wall remain as historical monuments, showcasing the engineering and cost of World War II. When Hitler constructed the Atlantic Wall, the Allied powers did not anticipate the challenges they would face. However, an event in 1942 opened the eyes of the Americans and the British. The Dieppe raid, conducted by Canadian forces, aimed to test the strength of the Atlantic Wall. The raid was a disaster for the Allies, as the fortified concrete bunkers successfully repelled the attack. Out of the 6,000 Allied troops that participated, 3,600 were either killed or captured by the Nazis. This raid revealed the strength of the Atlantic Wall, prompting the Allied powers to invest heavily in bunkers and defensive systems. Countries such as the UK, France, and Canada began constructing their own bunkers and tunnels. Churchill and #039's war rooms were an underground complex that served as British Prime Minister Winston Churchill and #039's headquarters during World War II. Designed to protect against Nazi Germany's airstrikes, these rooms were a key site for war planning. Similarly, France and #039's Maginot Line, initially built after World War I, saw the construction of new bunkers and tunnels. However, Germany bypassed the Maginot Line and invaded France through Belgium during World War II. In Japan, which was allied with Hitler during the war, hundreds of underground bunkers were constructed. On Iwo Jima, a vast network of tunnels was built, featuring hidden artillery positions, storage rooms, and living quarters. These tunnels were used for surprise attacks against Allied forces. The Okinawa bunkers were even larger and more complex, housing thousands of Japanese soldiers ready for defense and resistance. Despite the challenges of wartime shortages and the constant threat of airstrikes, the engineering behind these bunkers was extraordinary. Many workers died from suffocation while constructing underground tunnels. Still, thousands of bunkers were built, and many remain hidden underground today, especially in countries that were part of the Axis powers. After the war, many bunkers were abandoned, sealed, or forgotten. A significant way to locate these bunkers would have been through Hitler's government documents. However, many of these documents were either burned or hidden so well that only the person who concealed them knew their location. For ventilation, special systems were installed in underground bunkers to circulate fresh air inside and expel carbon dioxide. Hitler himself used several famous bunkers during his reign. Eagle's Nest, also known as Kelsteinhaus, was built for secret meetings and relaxation in Germany's Obersalzberg region. Constructed with concrete and granite, it was bomb-proof. Another famous bunker was the Führerbunker in Berlin, which served as Hitler's headquarters. This bunker was designed to withstand Allied bombings and artillery attacks. It was here that Hitler spent his final days and ended his life on April 30, 1945. Today, no visible remains of this bunker exist, but it remains a dark chapter in World War II history. Another notable bunker used by Hitler was Wolfschanz or Wolf and #039's lair, where he spent most of his time during the war. Located in the forests of North Germany, this fortress-like bunker featured a bedroom, offices, and a roof 7 meters thick, reinforced with gravel and steel layers for protection against airstrikes and chemical attacks. Despite its formidable security, the bunker was camouflaged with soil and plants, making it invisible from above. To counter Germany's strong defensive bunkers and the Atlantic Wall, the Allied powers, including the USA, UK, and Canada, conducted extensive planning. On June 6, 1944, known as D-Day, over 156,000 troops, 5,000 ships, and 11,000 aircraft launched an invasion. While Germany's bunkers and artillery initially inflicted heavy losses on the Allies, their resilience and strategic planning ultimately broke through Nazi Germany's control over Europe.